Hey friends, and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and you are on my homestead here in Wyoming, and we are out in the garden today. As you can probably maybe see behind me, it is pretty cloudy, so I'm gonna get as much done as I possibly can before the rain comes. We've had the crazy rainiest spring ever. We get storms every single day, and honestly my garden's liking it because I don't have to water, so that's been really nice. But with the rain has been coming some crazy wind as well, and yesterday I haven't gotten tomato cages up around my tomatoes or anything yet, and yesterday I had 3 of them break in the wind. So I, as you can see, use weed cloth, and so I don't want to poke holes for tomato cages, so I'm going to show you a different way and also a free way to make tomato cages, so that way we are able to help prop up all of the plants and we don't have to worry about this wind that keeps coming in. So let's go ahead and get that done. And then I'm also going to get a few more things planted. Other than that, everything is pretty planted out. I was talking to Sam last night and he said, "Is your garden totally done?" And I said, "Yes." And then I was laying in bed thinking, and I was like, I didn't plant any green beans, and that's just not acceptable. So we're gonna go ahead and get some green beans put in the ground, and then we'll just kind of see where the night takes us. Hopefully we can get all this done before the rain comes. So let's get going on our free tomato cages. Okay, so my goal here is to be able to do this for free, like I had mentioned, and I was originally thinking I was going to use T-posts, but they seem a little excessive for the job, and they're kind of expensive too. So I think I want to save those for fencing. Obviously those fencing never stops because we have so many animals. So I have these posts that were just left here by the previous owners. They're here from when they were putting in the electric fencing. So these have not had a purpose for a couple of years now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill these into the ground, some on this side and then some on the far side, and then we're going to wrap these around. So I'm just going to drill these into the ground just so that they're stable enough, they're not going to go anywhere. And if I need to add reinforcements and do the T-posts, I can. I also don't have enough T-posts, so let's try this and see how it goes. All right. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna go add 3 more onto the far side, and then we'll get this wrapped. All right, so I have this big thing of baling twine, and what I'm gonna do is just wrap this around a couple times, as tight as I can. And then I'm going to run this down to the other side. And then I just ran another piece down the other side. And then we'll tie that off. Now I'm going to repeat that and go a little step higher so that we support them higher up, and then as they keep growing we'll just keep building more trellises out. Alright, so after a few tries I found the knot that I think works best, and it's actually a fly fishing knot, and I was thinking we want it to pull on itself and keep tightening as it gets there. So this is the knot that I use to put my flies on the line when I'm fly fishing. So all you do is just wrap it around the pole and then pinch it. Then you wrap this around the main string like, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times. Then you take this end, stick it through that hole, and then take that end, stick it through that hole. And then tighten. This is so funny. And then as it pulls itself, it will continue to tighten. Which is like exactly what we want. So I'm running this knot actually around all of them. Here's what our rows look like with the fencing. It's so easy, and I'm just that little one in the middle. I'm just gonna wait and see which direction he goes and then try to either run some horizontally across or find him a home. Either way, we'll get him trellised up, no problem, but I'm just gonna keep raising up the trellis levels, so I'll just put a 4th level, then a 5th level, then a 6th level, and these are our free tomato cages. There's the storm clouds headed our way, so let's see if we can get our beans planted before they come. All right, so just right next to where our tomatoes are, they're right here. I want to keep these in line because I want to think about the drip system that I'm going to put in. So it's a lot easier if I have everything kind of all lined up. And so I just grabbed these green beans from Walmart. It was the quickest green beans I could get. So these are Blue Lake Bush. So these don't need a trellis or anything. So I'm just going to do probably about 12 or so plants. So I just poke a little hole. Let's see. Throw a few beans in. We want these 1 inch deep. And then cover them up. And normally I would water, but because we have crazy storm clouds, I'm just going to let Mother Nature take care of that for me. Beans are in, wind is picking up, so let's go ahead and head inside before these crazy storm clouds get to us, and let's go start making some dinner. All right, friends, we're back inside and it is already 6:15. So I'm gonna show you one of the quickest weeknight dinners. This is one that I grew up on. My grandma would make it, my mom would make it. Now I make it. It's a family recipe, and I'm gonna take you along with me, and we're gonna get this done in like 20 minutes. It takes 2 pans, 20 minutes, and you're gonna have a healthy and yummy dinner. So let's get going. All right, I've had this half an onion in the fridge, so let's go ahead and get this used up. So all I'm gonna do is just dice this and it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just gonna go in with our elk meat. Instead of elk, you could definitely use ground beef or ground turkey, ground chicken. Whatever you enjoy is perfect. And that's honestly the best part about cooking, is it's all about using the ingredients that you already have and using the ingredients that you enjoy. So we're gonna use ground elk, which is very similar to beef, and it's just a lot more lean. All right, onions done. Let's go ahead and get our pan warmed up for our elk. Behind me, I'm filling up a pot of water, and I'm gonna put down some olive oil and turn this on to medium heat. And we're gonna bring this pot of water to a boil for pasta. All right, our oil is hot. I'm gonna add our onions. Well, maybe our oil's not fully hot, but that's all right. I'm gonna add our onions. Give those a quick stir, and then once we hear those sizzling, we'll add in the elk. All right, I can hear our onions sizzling, so I'm gonna dump in our elk. I just gave my hands a quick wash, and now let's go ahead and just kind of break this up a little bit. For this recipe, we want our meat pretty small. So I'm just going to use our meat masher. And then to this, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And we're going to let this cook down. All right, our water's boiling. Gonna add in some salt, and I like to add in olive oil. And we're gonna dump in 1 pound of pasta. Give that a good stir. All right, my meat is browned, and I just have some raw corn here, so I'm gonna throw that in here really quickly and just let this cook up. I could boil it in the pasta as well, but I'm just gonna do it this way. And then I also like to add red pepper flakes at this time because I find when you let them cook in it, their heat comes out a lot more. So we're just gonna kind of toast the red pepper flakes. And I'm also gonna add in about a tablespoon, maybe a little more, of Worcestershire sauce. That. We absolutely love these salt and pepper shakers. They are great because you don't have to like twist your arm or anything. So these are from Amazon if you're interested. So that's been cooking for probably 3 minutes. So I'm gonna add in 1 can of diced tomatoes, and then I'm gonna wash this out with just a little bit of water. Give that a stir. And if you don't like tomato chunks, you can use petite tomatoes. Tomato sauce would work. Whatever you want. I prefer petite tomatoes, but this is what I've had. So that's what we're using. I'm just gonna let that continue to cook for a little bit. All right, and then finally, we're gonna throw in our pasta. That a good stir. And then the part that brings it all together, this sounds crazy, but you're gonna go in with some ketchup. I probably just did a cup. Give that a good mix. And then for just a little extra tomato kick, I like to add in some tomato paste. And if you've never used the tomato paste in a tube, this is the way to go because then you don't have to finish. Yeah, if I'm gonna do the can, I always waste it, so that's definitely the way to go. Give that a good mix, and that is our dinner. Literally done in 20 minutes. All right, friends, and just like that, dinner is done. I know Sam really likes to put hot sauce on this, so you can throw some like tomato-based hot sauce. I like to eat it just as is. I have not tested it on kids, but I do think this would be a kid-approved meal. It's kind of like if spaghetti and chili mac had a baby. You have this. So I'm gonna go enjoy my dinner. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me in my garden and then quickly coming back in before the rain got to us. I am the only one here tonight eating dinner. Sam's in town at a meeting, so I made a ton, and there was a reason for that. I think this is gonna freeze dry really, really well, and I think it will reheat in the backcountry. Awesome. So we're gonna eat some of the leftovers for a couple of days, and we're gonna try to freeze dry it. I will report back and let you all know how that goes, but thank you guys so much for joining. If you liked today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing so you don't miss any more cooking or gardening or just homesteading in general videos. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, friend. So good.